Yeah, that was probably a bit too good to last, wasn't it? As the creator of the Coffin of Andy and Leyley, a game that I streamed and played fairly recently actually, and absolutely adored, has completely yeeted their entire online presence, even going so far as to isolate themselves entirely from any and all feedback from their own game. As the announcement says, there will be no communications or information forward to the developer from this point onward. They are choosing to remain completely in the dark and to continue their work happily offline. This is in response to an alleged doxing attempt against the creator, who goes by the name of Leyley, apparently, and the doxing attempt appears to be real from posts that I've managed to discover, but it seems to have failed in that it didn't manage to target the creator, but rather some random person who was a fan of the creator. Small blessings, I suppose. But this has now been handed over, the development of the game that is, to Kit9. Kit9 is a developer with basically no footprint online, as far as I've been able to tell, and considering the swiftness of this course of events, I would presume that they are either a friend of the developer, or at the very least someone that they have had a working relationship with in the past. So, in all due likelihood, this is going to have next to no material effect on the continued development on the game, as Kit9 will, as they say in the announcement, take over all programming, community management, customer support, business contracts, and legal disputes, whereas the original developer will continue providing the art and the story. So, hopefully, the Coffin of Andy and Leyley will continue to be released just as previously planned, with the doxers no wiser as to who this person is, and getting to revel in their own failure. That would be the ideal scenario at the very least. Now, there are a couple of things surrounding this, right? So, the creator of the Coffin of Andy and Leyley have previously made actually quite a few games over the last 5 or 6 years or so, which was uploaded to itchy.io. Now, nothing on the same level of success as the Coffin of Andy and Leyley, but quite a few cult classics which have now also all, unfortunately, been deleted completely off the internet, along with the person's entire social media profile. And they didn't have a whole lot of a social media profile to begin with. This was clearly a very private individual, and you know what? Good. Unironically, because I must admit, initially, once I heard this news, and considering the creator's initial response to the incest debacle, the drama surrounding 10 seconds of a dream sequence, which also catapulted the game into fame, so good, I suppose, was this. And at first, I will admit, I heard the voice of Dev echoing in the back of my mind. Pick at me was weak, Arch. She was driven off the internet, Arch. She deserved it, Arch. Because if you sass your opposition and then leave, well, I don't know about that. But here's the thing. Alright, this is a person who's already very private, right? And there is now confirmed reports of people trying to dox you, and they managed to dox somebody else whilst trying to go after you. At what point is this being weak/cowardice, and at which point is getting out of the way of the speeding train simply being intelligent? Because for absurd reasons, this person has kicked up quite the hate train against themselves from some really dedicated tards. Again, considering the entire incest scene was about 30 seconds of a dream sequence, I don't quite understand where the venom comes from, but here we are. So, on October 23rd, 2023, a thread in /raid is created in an attempt to dox call creator Leyley. Base team at first were unable to find any account associated with Leyley due to itch.io account not having any accounts attached to it. When they tried searching for any other account names under the name Leyley, mistakenly they targeted a fan account. So it wasn't a dox really, and it just forced Leyley to become harder to dox. Another response, trying to dox Leyley, only find email, which isn't doxing anyone can find email. Well, theoretically, technically, but I'd consider it sketchy nevertheless. Q-tards frothing at the mouth and growling like fucking coyotes, this isn't enough, we need more, accidentally dox random tards on the internet that just likes the game thinking they're Leyley. Leyley sees the impending danger and goes off-grid in response. You know what? Probably that's the correct response, right? Because this is something I've talked about on multiple occasions. Some people are not cut out for the internet. One of my favorite content creators of all time, Total Biscuit, was not cut out for the internet, despite the tremendous success he was on it. Mentally, he couldn't handle the parasocial relationship of being a YouTuber. Somebody like him, and presumably somebody like this creator here, would be far better off just going like, nope, I'm gonna make my thing, I'm gonna discouple entirely and go off the grid as completely as I possibly can and just make product. It is far healthier for the creator, obviously, in this case. It is far healthier for the haters too, as now they can't do anything stupid. And it is far healthier for the community that likes the games, as they won't have to trudge through the drama bullshit to actually, get to the good game, which, incidentally, is 20% off right now. I do heartily recommend The Coffin of Andy and Leyley. It is a very, very good read. It is a pure visual novel, mind you, so if you're not into that sort of stuff, be forewarned. Nevertheless, I very much enjoyed it. You can also have a quick look at my stream in case you don't know what a visual novel is. It's a book with pictures on your computer. Revolutionary, I know. And if they're still going to continue to make the game, provide the art, provide the story, etc., and they're just handing over community management and everything else administrative to another party that they presumably either know or have worked with before and trust, fantastic. This isn't a good situation, obviously, as this creator had to be forced off the internet via a threat of doxing, and preferably, this should never have happened in the first place, and I thoroughly do believe, by the way, what I said here. This, incidentally, is why we have a moral duty to return to pre-cancel culture days and to destroy any who resist. Because that, again, would make it better for everyone. Ideally, this person should be allowed to continue to have an online presence and make a game. But if that is impossible, this is probably the most elegant solution that we could have had. As Kit9 Studio is simply stepping into the role of owner and publisher, the development of the Coffin of Andy and Leyley will continue to proceed with no change in plans. The devlog for December will still be delivered as originally promised and will be the final words from the developer. All future game announcements afterwards will be handled by Kit9 Studio. Now, I do find the idea of the developer completely distancing themselves from all connection to the game to be a bit disconcerting, particularly in case of actually valid feedback and criticism rather than the 30 seconds of dream wincest. But again, if this is the price for having a healthy, productive developer, then go ahead. I know of a few others that could have benefited from something along the lines of this. A certain Cake That Walks, for example, and the decade-old book he's been writing. Maybe this could actually be a rather good idea, really. Still, we need to get away from this. Social media has done a tremendous amount of damage to the games industry, to us in general as a civilization and as a society. We need to reinforce certain rules and regulations upon one another. People who actively engage in the doxing of others, for example, should be considered absolute persona non gratas. And I don't care about the websites themselves. Obviously, you should probably enforce rules against such things, as I am pretty sure they are illegal, etc. But the normal users need to vehemently reject and condemn any efforts like this on behalf of anyone. I don't care what the creator has done. I don't care how morally repugnant or disgusting you find it. Going after somebody who's simply making a thing for the people who like that thing, they should be allowed to do that. And there is no reason why we should allow others to try and destroy them for it. Particularly not over something as tiny and dumb as this again. Anywho's, I'd like to hear what all of you think about this, because again, I do hear the echoes of Dev in the back of my mind, but I also do think that moving out of the way of the encroaching train, as the train now has made its intentions loud and obviously clear to you, is probably pretty smart at the end of the day too. And hopefully, it will, as mentioned, not have any real material effect on the game at all. Best of luck to the creator in any and all of her future endeavors, of course, and hopefully the final chapters of the Coffin of Andy and Leyley will be just as good as the first two. Until next time, I have been Arch, thank you all very much for watching, and I do hope to see you all again soon. Have a good day.